The future is now. That's what Elon Musk made absolutely clear in their historic gathering in Riyadh. Elon accompanied President Trump in his epic visit to Saudi Arabia, where Trump laid out his vision for a rising civilizationalist world.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions, and charting your own destinies in your own way.
But what's so fascinating here is that at the heart of this renewal of ancient civilizations is nothing less than a massive technological revolution, what's being referred to as the third industrial revolution in the rise of cyberspace. And it's here where we're seeing what many are calling an archaeo-future world coming into being, a world that combines in almost Star Wars-like fashion the scientific and the religious, the technological and the traditional, the ancient and the future. And no one embodies those archaeo-future possibilities more than Elon Musk.
Everyone will want to have their personal robot. You can think of it like as though you had your own personal C-3PO or R2-D2, but even better. Then who wouldn't want to have their own personal C-3PO, R2-D2? That would be pretty great. I also think it unlocks an immense amount of economic potential. Once you have humanoid robots, the actual economic output potential is tremendous. It's really unlimited. Potentially, we could have an economy 10 times the size of the current global economy, where no one wants for anything. Sometimes in AI, they talk about universal basic income. I think it's actually going to be universal high income, where anyone can have any goods or services that they want.
So Elon is basically announcing there that the age of robotics is already here. And what he's getting at there is that increasingly we're beginning to see a world emerge that's marked more by robotics than demographics. The venture capitalist Balaji Srinivasan often talks about this. Better, we're seeing robotics in effect merge with demographics. And this is because with AI, you can basically put this AI brain into all kinds of things where there would have otherwise been a human brain, right? You can put a digital engine into all kinds of things that up until now required human muscle to operate, which will in turn increase our economic capabilities and capacities, our economic output, unlike anything we could have possibly imagined beforehand. This is why AI and robotics have in effect launched a whole new kind of geopolitical race. I mentioned this yesterday in our video on Pope Leo and his engagement with this rising archaeo-future world. But Russian President Vladimir Putin back in 2017 argued that the nation that masters AI first is the one that will, in effect, rule the world. The Brookings Institute published a piece that argued that whoever controls AI by the year 2030 will basically rule the century. And that's exactly what Elon is intent on doing for the United States. He's working hard to establish the United States as the AI and robotics center of the world. And then he's exporting that, ironically, to some of the most traditionalist places on the planet, like Saudi Arabia. But as it turns out, Elon's mind-blowing announcements were just getting started. Did you see that President Trump just signed an executive order outlining his plans to create America's first national sovereign wealth fund? And it will need to be filled with assets fast. Trump wants a go-live plan in the next 90 days, and the Wall Street types are already trying to pack it with real estate, infrastructure, and pieces of trendy companies like TikTok. But let's not forget about gold. Sovereign wealth funds love to buy gold in bulk. Australia's been loading up. Saudi Arabia's been buying the world's largest gold mine to supply itself. And even tiny Singapore recently added more than 100 metric tons of gold to its vaults. Now, can you imagine what could happen to the per ounce price of gold, which has already been surging sky high since Trump took office, if America's new sovereign wealth fund followed international best practices and made gold a part of its diversified portfolio? I mean, it would potentially make our country a brand new mega buyer in an already tight market. And when there's limited supply and huge demand, the impact on prices, well, let's just say you want to be ready. And there's a simple way to get ready too. It's all laid out for you in the free gold report that my partners at Turley Talks Likes Gold.com. You want to request your copy right away. After all, President Trump has put the world on notice. A new sovereign wealth fund for America may be coming perhaps in as little as the next 90 days. So take advantage of the time you have to prepare. Get your free gold report right now at TurleyTalksLikesGold.com.
He has another announcement that he's
Yes, exactly. So, and I'd also like to thank him for approving Starlink for maritime and aviation use. Thank you.
Maritime and aviation. There you go. There you go.
Starlink. Again, it's all part of another major development in this rising civilizationalist world. Some of you may be familiar with what's called astropolitics, which is basically the geopolitics of space. It's actually becoming an increasingly important part of international relations, especially since it was announced that both Russia and China are teaming up to put a nuclear power plant on the moon. But the rise of astropolitics is emerging largely because of the United States' dominance in space. And that dominance centers on satellites. As we speak, there are now over 12,000 active satellites orbiting Earth, 25,000 if we include inactive satellites. And that number reflects a rapid increase in recent years, largely driven by the proliferation of small satellites that have been put up by Elon's Starlink. In fact, Elon has so many satellites up that they're actually calling it a mega constellation that will provide low-cost, high-speed internet access all across the planet. In fact, over 60% of those 12,000 satellites fall into the small satellite category, with Starlink owning the vast majority of them. There's no nation that even comes close to dominating astropolitics right now, quite like the United States, largely thanks to Elon. Now, again, China and Russia, and increasingly India, are interested in challenging that dominance. But as you just saw in Elon's announcement, they got a long way to go before they catch up with the United States.
But I should want to mention also something that may be worth considering is tunnels.
The Boring Company.
I have this company called The Boring Company, which sounds kind of boring, but it's literally bores tunnels. Tunnels, in order to solve traffic, you really need to go 3D with roads. And by using tunnels, you can essentially create like a wormhole, like a warp tunnel from one part of a city to another and alleviate traffic. And we've actually already done this proof of concept in Vegas. So there are working tunnels in Las Vegas that you can use where it feels like teleporting from one part of Vegas to another. I always say that, my joke is like tunnels are underappreciated. It's a bit of not always a hit, but.
Yeah, don't quit your day job, Elon. Now, this vision he has of 3D travel of an entire multi-level highway system underground, it would be powered and directed by AI so as to prevent any accidents, with cars reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour and more or less functioning like a teleporting system between locations. It has elevators bring the cars down below and up above ground. And like Elon said, there's a prototype that's already in use in Vegas. But this is all just a taste of what the future will be like, precisely because of this extraordinary archaeo-modern alliance that's emerged between what's called the trad right and the tech right, or what Ross Stout of the New York Times calls the tech trad alliance. This is the growing alliance between social conservatives and Silicon Valley tech leaders who are both dedicated to the rescue and renewal of civilization from its otherwise inevitable collapse. This is the world that we saw on display in Riyadh this week. a world of deep religious faith and tradition that embraces the most advanced and futuristic technology and innovation, a world of human flourishing and prosperity, a world of renewal and return. Hey there, Turley Talker. You know what? I'd love to hear from you. That's why I'm launching the Dr. Steve Hotline, where you can call in, leave a question, and maybe even hear your own voice featured on an upcoming episode of the show. Whether it's about the latest political shakeup or cultural trends or how we keep pushing forward in this new conservative age, I want to know what's on your mind. Call me at 717-844-5984. Just leave your question. I'll be checking in every single week to answer as many as I can. Again, that's 717-844-5984. Your chance to be a part of the conversation. One more time, 717-844-5984. Give me a call and let's talk.